to church? Well, now, we've mentioned apostles. Some people think that apostles are limited to the 12, the first apostles, and that we shouldn't use the name for anybody today. But when you look at the word apostle in the New Testament, there are at least 5 kinds of apostle, 3 of which were unique, but 2 of which are still found. The word apostle means somebody sent, a sent one. Apostoline is the Greek verb to send. It's the same as the word mittere in Latin, from which we get missionary and missile. A missionary is an intercontinental ballistic missile. Same word. Sent. Sent from A to B to do something. That's all the word apostle means. Jesus was called an apostle because the Father sent him from heaven to earth to save sinners. He was an apostle, a sent one, and he was quite unique. He chose 12 men, one of whom failed, but he chose 12 men to be first disciples, which means to learn from him, and then to send them out as 12 apostles. And they went far and wide. Thomas went to South India, and there's still a church named after him in South India. I've been to his grave in Tamil Nadu, the southern state just outside Madras. And the other apostles scattered throughout the world. They were sent by Jesus directly. And no one is sent by Jesus directly like that today. They had to have known him before his death and after his resurrection to be one of his personal apostles. And that's why when Judas betrayed him, they had to choose another. And it was someone who'd known him before his death and known him after his resurrection, so could be a personal witness to the truth of the resurrection, which was the key to spreading the gospel at first. The third kind of apostle was Paul. And he was the only one of this kind. He was the last of all the apostles, the last of the special ones. He didn't replace Judas. Many people have taught that he was number 12. No, he said himself, I'm number 13. He acknowledged the 12 apostles of Christ, and then he said, I was like someone born at the wrong time. He was the only one commissioned by the risen, ascended Christ. And that sight of the risen, ascended Christ in his glory blinded him for 3 days until he was healed. And he has said, I have a unique apostleship. In fact, he says, without boasting, I've worked harder than all the others, than all the 12. So those are the special apostles we find in the New Testament. But we find others. We find, for example, that the Church of Corinth had its own apostles, its own sent ones. They sent out as missionaries and preachers from the church at Corinth, and they called them apostles, sent ones. And any church that sends one of its members out to preach, it's right to call them an apostle. And then finally we have a unique apostle in Epaphroditus, mentioned in Paul's letter to the Philippians, sent by the church at Philippi to be Paul's housekeeper in Rome while Paul was under house arrest. And he wrote a letter thanking them for sending Epaphroditus as their apostle. The title is there in Philippians' letter, but too many translators have got the idea there weren't such apostles and have mistranslated the word, but it is the word apostle. Thank you for your apostle Epaphroditus, who's cooking my meals and making my bed and looking after me under house arrest. We had a marvelous church caretaker. I mean by that, he looked after the building. He was a brilliant carpenter, and many of the things in the building he'd made with his own hands. And he'd kept the building spotless. And he did more than that. He would take in tramps, take their clothes off them, wash their clothes, put the tramp in the bath and get him cleaned up, give him a meal, and send him on his way. My, you're happy if you've got a church warden or church caretaker like that. So do you know what we did? We sent him to Nazareth to help build a hospital for the Arabs. And he was our sent one to Israel, to Nazareth. He'd never been overseas, he'd never been in the air in an aeroplane. But he became our apostle to Nazareth. And he helped to build the hospital there. He was our sent one, sent from A to B to do a job. That's all that the word apostle means. So it depends all on who sent them, where to, and what job for. But they qualify for the word apostle if they do that. So there are apostles today, but they must be sent by the church somewhere else to do a job. There are too many self-appointed apostles around who are false apostles. They're really acting as bishops, and they're overseeing churches, which is not New Testament. The word bishop is used in the New Testament as a translation of the word episkopos, which is another word applied to elders. And in the New Testament, there were many bishops to one church. It was only later that the Roman Empire hierarchy of officials was adopted by the church, and we finished up with one bishop over many churches. That's a huge difference and should never have happened. But a bishop in the church of New Testament was simply an elder. There were three words used. Episkopos was used of overseers. The second word I'm just hunting for. Oh dear me, where is it? Episkopos. Diakonos was for a deacon. But there was another word I know, presbyteros, which was used for elders. So elders had two titles, episkopos, which means overseer, and presbyteros, which means elder. And then there were diakonos, deacons. Now here's a little puzzle for you. There is one man in the New Testament of whom those three words were applied. He was called an episkopos, a presbyteros, and a diakonos. And he is one of the most prominent figures in the New Testament. And he had all three titles. Now, can anybody guess who it was?